You've probably never seen the first Phantom of the Opera movie, because no one alive has. Because this wasn't the first Phantom of the Opera movie. Hi, I'm Jessica. I write Phantom books. I'm in my car because I didn't want to miss day 3 of Phantober. What's Phantober? It's where I'm talking about a different version of the Phantom of the Opera every day in October. We talked about the Opera House. We talked about the original. So let's talk about the first Phantom movie. It wasn't the Lon Chaney movie. It was Das Phantom der Oper. A German silent film, also called Das Gespenst am Operhaus. This was made in 1916, and its existence has only been recently rediscovered. We found some advertisements and summaries, but the film itself is lost, which is why no one's seen it. It was directed by Ernst Maitre, who also played Raoul. Niels Olaf Christender played Eric, but the coolest cast member was Aud Edgenissen. She was also a producer on the film, and she and her sister had their own production company. But unfortunately, they had it in Germany in 1916, and so with World War I and media consolidation, it shut down. But she, unlike any other woman who has ever played the Swedish Christine Daae on screen, was Swedish. We don't know a lot about this movie, as I said. We know the general plot, which followed LaRue to some extent, but because it was a small-budgeted movie, they changed a lot of scenes, like the masquerade and the chandelier. Instead of Eric trying to use mirrors to torture the Persian and Raoul, he was using a furnace, which then exploded. So this was also the first movie to change the ending and somehow make it worse. A pattern which will continue throughout Phantober, unfortunately. We're also pretty sure that Gaston Leroux had nothing to do with this movie and didn't give his permission for it to be made. Sort of in the same vein as Nosferatu being made without the permission of the Stoker estate, because Nosferatu is Dracula. In this case, they didn't even try and change any names. They just did the Phantom of the Opera. There's also the small matter of the fact that France and Germany were not getting along in the 19-teens, which could be one major factor in how this film was lost. But film wasn't seen as something worth preserving back then. That's why we've lost so many early silent films. They just thought it was as disposable as a theater performance, and so they didn't keep any negatives. As I said, we only know about this movie because of advertisements and summaries that were discovered about a decade ago. It wouldn't be for about a decade until Gaston Leroux actually was involved in the production or licensing of a Phantom of the Opera movie, and that's the one that you've heard of and hopefully seen. And the one that made Phantom a legend, and we'll get to it tomorrow in Phantober. Make sure you are following along. Comment below with what Phantoms you hope we get to cover, because I'm always open for suggestions. Maybe if we get enough, I won't have to talk about Rat Phantom. One can only hope. Bye.